Meeting for November 24th, 2025 is called to order at 6:30 p.m. Please rise for the pledge. Mr. Wilson, would you lead us in the pledge?
Always. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Secretary, Mr. Powers is excused, and Mrs. Zontini is running a few minutes late. Other than that, please take the roll.
Okay, meeting called to order at 6:31 p.m. President Maynard,
Present.
Vice President Valeria Noak,
Yes, present.
Treasurer Powers is excused, Secretary McDowell is present, Trustee Wilson Sr.,
Present.
Trustee Wilson,
Present.
and Trustee Zontini is on her way.
Also in attendance, we have Mr. Maurice Woods, our high school assistant principal, Mr. Bob Walmsley, our athletic director, Mr. Ken Jansrick, our superintendent, and Mrs. Lee Walmsley, our director of HR. Board members, on to the agenda. The superintendent and the board president recommend that the board approve the agenda as submitted or amended. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Ms. Valerio Noak, is there support?
Support.
Support by Mr. Trustee Wilson. Discussion? Hearing and seeing none. Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Mrs. Valeria Noak,
Yes.
Mr. Wilson,
Yes.
Ms. Wilson,
Yes.
Secretary McDowell, yes, and President Maynard.
Yes. Motion carries 5-0. Next is the approval of the minutes. The superintendent and the board president recommend that the board approve the minutes from the November 10th regular board meeting and the November 11th personnel meeting. Is there motion?
So moved.
Ms. Valerio Noak, is there support?
Support.
Ms. McDowell? Any questions? Trustee Wilson?
Thank you. We're approving the November 10th
Yes, ma'am.
regular board meeting. Yeah, I just have a point here. I see on the November 10th minutes that we noted Mr. King was removed for disorderly conduct. And right, wrong, or indifferent, I understand. But my question is to you, Chair. When are we going to start holding board members that have exhibited behaviors accountable? We were very quick to hold Mr. King accountable, and Mr. Wilson has been held accountable or tried to hold accountable. So I don't really like what the message seems to be when it comes to the African-American men. But I have asked you to investigate certain things that have happened with board members, and I have yet to see any action on that. So I'm just looking to understand, one, if we're going to hold our board members to the same standards as maybe some of the citizens, and even as Mr. Wilson, and even myself. I don't really want to go down this path again, but I will. I've been lied on, I've been mistreated, and I've asked you, a chair, to address these things, and I have yet to receive anything. So it's quite interesting how we're ready to look at Mr. King, address him, but I'm looking to understand from you, when are we going to address some of the things that I have experienced and I have yet to hear from you?
I'll remind the public that this is a public meeting and demonstrations are not called for. Ms. Wilson, to answer your question, I have held other board members accountable. I keep the public past their 3 minutes, and we keep the demonstrations to a none. As for your investigation, my progress is sitting right here. You added some stuff, so I'm going back to go after what you asked me to add, those 4 statements. But if you would like to know, because I am not complete yet, I have identified 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 instances that could qualify to the statement that you requested in here. I don't need to read it because it's between you and me right now. That could request in here for what was said at the October 27th board meeting. So until the attorney comes back to me and says that each one of these apply, then I'll be able to give you the dollar amount that was requested, because I can say this, the full 12,000 is not correct, and I will provide the actual amount when I am through. And as to your second portion, I will provide the statement as well with that. So I am in the process. It's unfair to say that I am not working it. I am working it to make sure it is accurate, because you, mine, and everybody else's integrity matters here on the board. Any other questions? Ma'am?
Yeah, I think we're talking about two different things here. October 14th, there was a barrage of lies told on me, and I'm not sure what you're looking at there, what you're referencing, because...
This is your email from October 27th board. You asked me to investigate 1, 2, 3 things.
Okay, so that's from the October 14th. You just-
27th. It
No.
says during the October 27th board meeting, there were several negative, false statements said about me.
Okay, so what I'm saying is, I've said this once before. There have been a barrage of lies said on me, okay? And I believe you witnessed that. That I did follow up with you as well. And then I just recently followed up with you, and none of these I get a email response back or anything. I just sent you another email just this past week. I get nothing. So the claims that I have, I believe they are very valid, and I'm concerned that it is a slow roll to get any action from you, because I did send that almost, well, it's been 3 weeks now. And so I don't know what's taking so long. I understand, I guess you're doing a thorough investigation. But again, I sent you an email the other day, and I still have yet to get a response from you on anything. And I don't know if this is because I'm naming certain board members. I'm not sure what the issue is. But why haven't I gotten a response on that email? I think that's a very valid question.
So, Ms. Wilson, first, it has nothing to do with certain board members being named. The truth is the truth. And that's what's going to end up coming out here. It doesn't matter if you're here. It doesn't matter if anybody other board member sent me something. I'm going to be very deliberate to make sure everything is done correctly. And my record is very clear that I have treated you with the utmost respect. And when I go through and I look at each one of these items, I will provide the response when it is completed.
I beg to differ about treating me with the utmost respect as you sit in that seat. But what I'm saying is, I didn't get a response on my email just a few days ago.
You requested that I respond to you within 48 hours. I appreciate that you believe that you should have something within 48 hours, but when I
No,
have
an
the-
acknowledgement. I asked for an acknowledgement.
Okay.
I didn't say for a full response, just an acknowledgement that you did receive the email.
Okay, I will acknowledge that I've received the email. Is there?
So what, can you do it in writing, please?
Sure.
Thank you.
Okay. Is there any other questions?
And the reason why, again, I'm bringing this up is because we seem to hold other people more quick and accountable, but when I bring something forward, it doesn't seem to move that fast. So thank you, Chair.
Is there any other questions? Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Ms. Valerio Noak?
Yes.
Ms. McDowell? Yes. Ms. Wilson?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Ms. Santini?
Yes.
And Mr. Maynard?
Yes. Motion carries 6-0. The approval of the bills. The board president recommends that the board approve the payroll and benefits for the Clintondale Community Schools ending November 14th, 2025. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Ms. Valerio Noak, is there support?
So moved.
Secretary McDowell, any discussion or questions?
I have a question, thank you.
Yep.
Do we know if there's anything in the bills that would cause a conflict?
So the first portion of the agenda, as I explained last meeting, you will notice it says the payroll and benefits for the Clintondale Community Schools employee. And I put it in a memo last board meeting that that first line would be where the conflict does exist. And the second line is where the conflict doesn't exist. So when you pull your bills, there is a little spreadsheet right here that
Yeah,
contains
I see
to
it.
item 1. So this would be where the conflict exists. And the other section is where the rest of the bills. Does that answer your question?
Thank you.
Any other questions? Hearing none and seeing none, please call the roll.
Mrs. Valerian Oak?
Yes.
Mrs. McDowell, yes. Ms. Santini?
Yes.
Ms. Wilson?
Abstain.
Mr. Wilson?
Abstain.
Mr. Maynard?
Yes. Motion carries 4-0 to 2 with 2 abstentions. Next, the superintendent and the board president recommend the board approve the bills ending November 14th, 2025. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Ms. Valerio Noak, is there support?
Support.
Support by Secretary McDowell. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, please call the roll.
Ms. Valerian Oak?
Yes.
Ms. McDowell, yes. Ms. Santini?
Yes.
Ms. Wilson?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Mr. Maynard?
Yes. Motion passes 6-0. Next, we have a correspondence. I don't know why this is correspondence. Board members, we have a correspondence from the superintendent, and that correspondence is a notification to us that tonight's closed session, as well as the 15th closed session, he has requested his presentation tonight and his evaluation in closed session, just so you're aware. Now we move to the superintendent's report. Mr. Superintendent?
Thank you. For my report this evening, I'm going to be talking about connecting back to our strategic plan for 24 to 27. Within our strategic plan, we're talking about student growth and achievement. But tonight, I'm going to talk a little bit about some staffing changes that I messaged out to the board and that some individuals have seen out on our website in terms of some additional staff that we are adding into for our elementary students right now. We are looking at adding some staffing changes, and part of it has to do with the CSI determination, which is a comprehensive support improvement plan that I went over with the board through a weekly update. And it's really just discussing, could be for a variety of reasons, but Parker Elementary for bottom 5 within the state of Michigan. So looking at creating a plan to support the students in this school, but also talking at personnel, like the idea that our elementary students are struggling in multiple levels, and not only adding some additional supports for Parker, but also looking at adding some additional supports for McGlennon and Rainbow. Really within the CSI determination, they're looking at a 3-year cohort within that. And within that 3-year cohort, after we're identified, MDE assigns a primary contact. That primary contact goes through a needs assessment, develops a plan, and then implements the improvement plan with the staff. They're monitored over a period of time, and in every 3 years, they then go back. This is nothing new with the state of Michigan. For years, it was considered a focus school. Now it's considered a CSI, and it's really just saying you need to add some additional supports in there to identify some of the areas to continue to improve on. Our current response so far is we've been adding in reading interventionists at the elementary level. We have parent involvement nights to try to get our parents involved, to try to help them understand. During those parent involvement nights, they go through the IRIP, which is the individual reading improvement plans, where they talk with the families and come up with ways to read at home, to get more engaged at home. And these are the things we're currently doing. We're looking at common assessments through DIBELS and NWEA. We're looking at some formative assessments as well as professional development. With all of those responses that we're currently working on at the elementary, we need to step our game up a little bit more. So we've looked at adding some additional responses to this. We're looking at adding between 2 and 4 additional reading interventionists for our elementary staff. That all comes from the additional at-risk funds that we received from the state of Michigan. These were conversations that we had at the end of last year of wanting more reading interventionists, but unfortunately, without a budget at the start of the year from the state of Michigan, we really couldn't allocate funds. In addition to that, we're looking at adding an assistant principal to Parker Elementary School. The reason for that is some of the additional behaviors and supports for students. If we add an assistant principal in that area, we're then able to allow Mrs. Scheck some additional time to focus on what we're working with in terms of Tier 1 instruction. The last area we're looking at is adding 2 BCBAs, or Board Certified Behavior Analysts, and they're really specialized trained professionals to work with students and staff. Really some of our most at-risk behaviors that we're seeing in the elementary school, really not looking at suspending, really not looking at punishment, but more looking at what's going on with behavior and what can we do to support those students. So adding in those additional staff members. For the BCBAs, one will be at Parker Elementary full-time and one will be working with McGlennon. But that doesn't mean they cannot go over to Rainbow Early Childhood Center or even the secondary campus to also support. The board certified behavior analysts are really individuals that are going to be highly trained in terms of supporting some of our most at-risk behaviors. When we look at some of these determinations and some of these, the response, we're looking at adding and utilizing some of our at-risk funds, but we're also looking at some of our GSRP funds. So we've been able to add some additional GSRP classrooms, so we're then able to offset some of the things for us to continue to find ways to support. We had 80 GSRP students. We're looking to hopefully increase even more into filling up one final classroom that we currently have posted. Right now, we have all those positions posted on the website, and we're looking to collect applications. So if you know individuals interested in those, now the BCBAs are certified individuals with a BCA background. Obviously, the assistant principal looking for someone that either is currently working towards their admin degree or has their admin certificate. And then our reading interventionists are individuals with some additional training as classroom teachers that we're looking to fill in. The reason I have 2 to 4 in there is we're currently working with the interim CFOs to identify that final budget of looking at monies. And there's also some unknown out there with 31AA. So identifying monies right now for all 4 is something that we're not really for, but it's definitely an area in terms of looking at a range of individuals for there. When we talk about all these things, when we talk about reading and we talk about, and I talked with a board member beforehand, we're talking a lot about change in terms of what's happening within the elementaries. A lot of the change that happened a couple of years ago was the idea of really a second order change. Idea of unturning everything we know about reading and reading instruction when looking at the science of reading with CKLA. Really trying to change everything that as educators we've looked at with reading for years. And that change isn't easy. As we continue to move forward, we're then having some additional change and some of that systemic change over time. We're starting with some of our youngest learners right now, trying to move them forward, and it's nothing that, and we all want it to happen overnight, but it's nothing that happens overnight. We're going to continue to add resources and try to support some of our youngest learners because we know that will keep us moving forward in the long run. That's all I have.
Board, is there a question for the superintendent? Mr. Superintendent, I have a couple of questions for you. Regards to the reading specialists, do these individuals have a master's degree?
Some of
Will
them.
they? Have any individuals that we are asking about, have they taken a state test to be certified in reading?
So they would be individuals with a teaching certificate,
Mm-hmm.
and then we have a list of criteria that we're looking within there. The base criteria would be that teaching certificate, but obviously individual with reading endorsements would be someone that we would be looking to hire for that position. Someone with experience of supporting our most at-risk readers at a young age.
Has the administration brought back the CKLA company that we purchased from to look at our teachers and see if they're teaching the course correctly and provide any tips, tricks, or, helpful thoughts?
This year, we have not had CKL people in there observing, but we did do, when we first launched it, the CKL individuals did come out to do some professional development with the staff.
So 3 years ago, when we first launched, we had them come out? Okay. Are you considering bringing them out again to just do a retool and a refine and take a look at those items?
After I speak with the elementary principals, something I would entertain, having a conversation about part of our professional development plan. But I'd want to talk with the elementary principals in terms of what are they observing in the classrooms regularly before adding on additional cost.
Okay. Any other discussion? No? Thank you, Mr. Superintendent. Public comment regarding business before the board. We encourage you to voice your opinion on topics on the agenda. Please stand and be recognized by the chairperson and state your name and address before commenting. To provide the opportunity for all to participate, board policy limits each individual to 3 minutes to ensure due process and respect for individual rights. The district maintains a formal process for handling complaints against individuals. A problem involving an individual or individuals or specific incidents is best handled through administrative channels. Speakers are asked to express themselves in a civil manner with due respect for the dignity and privacy of others who may be affected by your comments. Speakers should be aware that if your statements violate the rights of others under the law of defamation or invasion of privacy, you may be held legally responsible. Is there anybody wishing for public comment on items on the agenda? Please state your name for the record.
D.L. Bradley, 22645 Quinn Road. And my comments,
Bishop Bradley, you have 3 minutes.
my comment concerns the preamble to the public comments that you just read, in light of also what Ms. Wilson was saying. And I'm concerned about the 2 public comment portions of the board meeting, which is read twice. The first is for business before the board, the second is for business not before the board. According to my understanding, I could be wrong, you can clear it up for me, there should be no response to what the public has to say. But Mr. Maynard, you selectively do respond. And when you respond, evidently, so long as you don't say the name of the person whose comments you're responding to, you give that as the reason why that person can't respond back. When I wanted to respond to your comment, to a comment that I made, you said that since you didn't say my name, and since my 3 minutes were up, that I couldn't respond back. And I think that's unfair. You, and I do believe that it is in violation of the Open Meetings Act, are setting up your rules. I call them your black codes. To, as with the teachers, when they spoke, you responded to them, you let them respond to you, but me, you responded to me, but because you didn't say my name, you prevented me, as you didn't do the teachers, you prevented me from responding to you. And that's why I call it rules by fiat, the infamous black codes. So the question is what are the rules? Some can mention names when you agree. Others are gavelled when they mention names when you don't agree. Others can respond while others are gavelled down when they respond and you don't agree. So I just want some clarity on the rules and where can I go in state government, particularly to Lansing, to lodge a complaint about violations of the Open Meetings Act when decisions made by this governing body seems to be prejudicial against a particular ethnicity. That's what I want to be cleared up at some point, not just for me, but for us black people that come up here that have comments that we want to make.
Anybody else wishing for public comment before the board? Sir?
Jay Blasius, 47252 Grand Cypress Court. Boy, either you're clairvoyant, or you must have read my speech here. I'm going to stick to the mantra that the board president, after the board was reorganized, that education, accountability, transparency will be the priority around here. As I mentioned a couple meetings ago, something is extremely wrong at CCS based on the NWE achievement levels, which are very low to the lowest in the state of Michigan. If everyone recalls, the main objective, while the last superintendent search was to find an individual that would be transformational for the district. Lo and behold, it has been recently discovered that Parker Elementary and the I-Campus have the great distinction of being identified for comprehensive support and improvement, CSI, by the state of Michigan due to having an overall building index score in the bottom 5% in the state. No, 5%. Don't try to sugarcoat it, 5%. The iCampus index score was 23.86 out of 100. Parker was 34.83 out of 100. And McGlennon was not too far behind at 43.55. I forgot what the middle school and the high school were, but I think they're about 40-ish also. So that means they're not too far behind either. These scores are all obtained under this superintendent's leadership. We weren't this way before. Not to mention the resignation of 2 special ed directors, a high school principal, a middle school principal, an elementary school principal, a CFO termination, and most recently, chief academic officer. Who's next? My question to the board is, if you're being honest with yourself, how can the superintendent be evaluated in any effective manner due to this occurring under his leadership? If those 2 schools are being put on a plan, it stands to reason the superintendent should be 2. Enough of the excuses, the word salad, Charlotte Danielson, domains, PLCs, etc. That's not cutting it. Board members, remember, your obligation is to the education of the children of the district, not here to be everybody's friend, but to ensure a quality education. This isn't anything personal, it's strictly business. On a side note, I'd like to mention, when was the district informed of this designation? When were all the board members informed of this unsettling news? Some had to have known to post all those new positions. 1 AP, 2 BCBAs, if you guys understand what that is. Elementary school literacy coach at Parker, 1 elementary at McGlennon. Ask yourself, why would you send your child to CCS? So I'm a little bit wondering, I know it's in closed session, but I think it would have been better that this evaluation would have been an open session so we can hear exactly what the plan is around here. Thank you.
Seeing and hearing nothing else? Nope. Sir, come on up, thank you.
Shannon King, 41238 Rugosa, Clinton Township. The superintendent touched a little bit on his address to us, change. And one of the things that we would like to be able to really see as residents, which was omitted here in this conversation, was tools and resources that are going to help our children be successful. And the major tool and resource that I would like to see be improved is a teacher contract. We are over 80 teachers that have cycled through this school district, and you can't tell me that does not impact the learning capability of our students. The change we would like to see is that instead of the school board directing either their own issues, their problems, blaming the residents for being frustrated or upset, we'd like to see them take accountability, see you take accountability for the fact that these teachers don't have contracts, for the fact that we still don't have all the resources needed for our students. There seems to be a lot of finger pointing back at us as residents or at the teachers, but the change we want to see is that there's a moment of self-reflection, understanding that you all serve our community and that you all can greatly be the wind that helps push our kids forward in being able to capture the American dream. Instead, you're standing in the way of it. You're wasting our tax dollars. In turn, you're pushing down our values of our homes. But most importantly, you're shutting the light out of opportunity for our kids. And you seem to be proud of it.
Anybody else for public comment? Seeing none, the board will move on to its agenda. There are no consent items this evening. We are now moving to to non-consent items, number 1 through 4. 1, third-party agreement. The superintendent and the director of special education recommend that the board approve the agreement with Courtney Lusatian, MS, CCC-SLP, for the 2025-2026 school year. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Vice President Noak. Is there support?
So moved.
Support by
Support.
Secretary McDowell. Mr. Superintendent, did you want to comment a little bit on it?
This is one of our SLPs, or speech and language pathologists, that we're looking to hire to ensure that we are meeting the special education needs of our students.
Any questions for the superintendent? Hearing none, call the roll.
Ms. Valerio Noak?
Yes.
Mrs. McDowell? Yes. Ms. Santini?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Ms. Wilson?
Yes.
President Maynard?
Yes, motion passes 6-0. Welcome to Clintondale, Courtney. Second, closed session. The superintendent and the board president recommend that the board enter into closed session as authorized by Section 8C of the Michigan Open Meetings Act to discuss CEA negotiations. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there support?
Support.
Please call the roll.
Ms. Valerio Noak?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Ms. Santini?
Yes.
Ms. Wilson?
Yes.
Mrs. McDowell, yes. Mr. Maynard?
Yes, motion carries 6-0. 3, closed session. The superintendent and the board president recommend that the board enter into a closed session as authorized by Section 8B of the Michigan Open Meetings Act to discuss student discipline. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Support.
Motion by Mrs. Noak, support by Mr. Wilson. Madam Secretary, call the roll.
Ms. Valerio Noak?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Ms. Wilson?
Yes.
Ms. Santini?
Yes.
Mrs. McDowell, yes. Mr. Maynard?
Yes, motion carries 6-0. 4, closed session. The board president recommends that the Board of Education enter into a closed session as authorized by Section 8A of the Open Meetings Act to discuss the superintendent's evaluation. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there support?
Support.
Motion by Ms. Valerio Noak, support by Mr. Wilson. Please call the roll.
Ms. Wilson? I'm sorry, Ms. Valerio Noak?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Ms. Santini?
Yes.
Ms. Wilson?
Yes.
Ms. McDowell, yes. Mr. Maynard?
Yes. Motion carries 6-0. Board, we are now at general public comment on items not on the agenda. We encourage you to voice your opinion on topics not on the agenda. Please stand to be recognized by the chairperson and state your name and address before commenting. To provide the opportunity for all to participate, board policy limits each individual to 3 minutes. To ensure due process and respect of individual rights, the district maintains a formal process for handling complaints against individuals. A problem involving an individual or individuals or a specific incident is best handled through the administrative channels. Speakers are asked to express themselves in a civil manner with due respect for the dignity and privacy of others who may be affected by your comments. Speakers should be aware that if your statements violate the rights of others under the law of defamation or invasion of privacy, you may be held legally responsible. Is there an individual? Mr. Rucker Floyd, please state your name for the record, and you have 3 minutes.
My name is William Rucker Floyd. I was just here just to let the board know again, I am here in the community and I would like to help. I tried to be on the board and that didn't seem to work. But I noticed that there is a lot of people in the community that is willing to work with me. So with that being said, we are starting a community hub right here at 15 Mile and Gratiot. It's gonna be called Somebody's, because I am somebody and the children that you guys represent is somebody too. So with that being said, I wanted it to be recorded that we have a community hub for our teens. It's a place for them to create. It's literally a place to create. That is the slogan, that is the name. We are gonna have a studio in there. We're gonna have math books for design, and we wanna promote e-commerce. We wanna teach these kids how to do finances when it comes to balancing a paycheck, and possibly, if they're good, we're gonna promote their work. We have a full studio. We are going to have a full graphics, a few stations. I'm not sure who here can help or knows any nonprofits. I'm not saying you guys might know anything about that, but it would be greatly appreciated again, because I am here. I said this last time, that I wanted some help, and I have received nothing but an email for a CTE, MISD worker. That's all I received. I didn't get any help. I didn't say, hey, we'll come in, you know, but I'm here, and I would love the support of the community. That's all. You guys have a great night.
Gotta say my name again? I'll say Dr. Jay Blasius this time. All right, you guys ready?
3 minutes, sir.
Okay. I must bring up something unsettling to this board. I don't know if you're made aware of it, that I've been charged an exorbitant amount of money for a basic FOIA request that is simply accomplished by putting a flash drive to a computer and it downloaded with the proper filters in place by the district's IT department utilizing AI. After all, we are in a new technological age, or maybe not at CCS. I'm told the superintendent is reviewing many, if not all, of my requests. And this was done on October 28th, by the way. Still haven't received, I paid for it, but I haven't received the information. It's like another extension on top of an extension. This superintendent has asked me to meet twice since I did my FOIA request. I also was asked if I wanted to narrow my FOIA search. My question is, why so many questions and delays, you might ask? Or is there something to hide? I only know so much by my observations at the board meetings. However, I hear many things from former and current teachers and administrators, along with many residents and students. Fortunately, my occupation allows me to spend time with many of these individuals, believe it or not. Since the academic achievement levels by a vast majority of students, K through 12 throughout CCS, is at least one grade level behind, more than likely 2 grade levels behind, and possibly 3 grade levels behind. That's the primary reason why I decided to dive into the information not given to the public. With this information and knowledge of what's actually going on, we'll determine if I buy a house in the district and run for this board in 2026. Because I've been asked by many alumni. Everyone might have forgotten, I did want to become a non-traditional candidate for the superintendent position, but I didn't meet the board's criteria. In order to not let the Mighty Dragon legacy get dissolved or merged with another school district, as referenced by the Macomb Daily article a couple weeks back, I find it necessary to take extreme actions or measures at the board level if it's not too late. Before you go into closed session, which in my opinion should be an open session, to find out the bill of goods that were going to be sold or trying to be sold as to what the plan is, the bottom line is the academic performance levels at all schools for most students is at the low to lowest achievement levels. This superintendent should not be rewarded as being effective for the decline in academic performance by the student body under his leadership. Thank you.
Is there anybody else for general public comment? Ma'am? Please state your name for the record, and we'll give you 3 minutes.
Nicole Hope, McLennan, third grade, first-year teacher. Good evening. The people who hold this district together at a breaking point, this is a message, it's unspoken but loud, that the stability and dignity of our educators are negotiable. Teachers are showing up every morning not knowing what their future holds, but they continue to stay in front of those classrooms because they refuse to let their students down. But our loyalty should never be exploited. It's a deep wound forming in this district, and it's due to the lack of respect. Teachers are expected to be counselors, social workers, curriculum experts, crisis managers, and miracle workers, all at the same time. And yet the system treats them as though our concerns are inconveniences. Teachers are asked to do the impossible and then asked to stay quiet about the toll it takes. That's not respect. We're given vague answers to empty promises and told just to deal with it. These are our students, this is what we have. And then there's the salary disparities. I know as a new teacher, I'm at step 1. When I was applying after graduating in December, seeing the deletion of those steps was actually a selling point, and reading your strategic plan about recruiting, retaining, actually intrigued me. However, I now find myself, like many others in the world, living paycheck to paycheck, and I'm choosing between paying my bills and buying supplies for the students. Some of us are working second and third jobs to stay afloat. It's not sustainable. It's not ethical. Many teachers could earn more money with less stress in neighboring districts. I myself am one of them. I've been earning about $1,200 a paycheck, and I was making easily $18 as a substitute. You're not competitive in your pay, and you're not going to recruit or retain anyone like me coming out of the colleges for us younger generations of teachers with how things are now. It's a bit laughable. It's a bit insulting. All I want is a contract, because if not, why not go back to subbing? We can't pretend this is business as usual. We cannot keep asking teachers to do everything while giving them nothing. I can't continue to see passionate, brilliant educators who have come before me leave because the system refuses to meet them halfway. I want to speak honestly about this emotional stress because it's real, it's heavy, and it's breaking many people, not just here in Clintondale, but all over. We know the world isn't going the way we were expecting to, but with your help, we're hoping that we can make a change. Teachers are crying in their cars after work. We're carrying home the anxiety and lying awake worrying about students that we don't have resources to support, though I am glad to hear that it seems to be you're trying to hire more people. We feel like we're drowning under expectations that keep rising while the support has been shrinking, though. And this emotional weight doesn't stay in the classroom. It ripples into our families and our health. And I'm asking you, I'm pleading with you actually, to act. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody else for public comment? Ma'am?
Nicole Kukuski, first grade teacher at Parker, and I'm here to talk about a fair contract for Clintondale teachers. We all agree that Clintondale students deserve great teachers. Clintondale students need and deserve talented teachers so our kids can get the education and skills that they need to succeed as adults. After all, our kids should have the same opportunities as children in any other community. But qualified educators are leaving Clintondale in droves. Clintondale teachers have been working without a contract for well over a year now, 450 days in fact. In roughly that time, we've lost about 80% of our teachers to other school districts that pay their educators better and treat them as professionals. For the sake of our kids and our community, we cannot allow this to continue. The solution is better pay and professional respect for teachers. We're urging the Clintondale School Board and administration to offer teachers a fair contract that keeps the best and brightest educators in our kids' schools. To attract and retain the great teachers our students need to learn, the Clintondale School Board must offer our teachers a fair contract that increases the teacher pay, improves educators' working conditions, and provides neutral, independent arbitration in the event of contract disputes between staff and administrators. This will help us rebuild trust, respect, and collaboration in our schools, and signal to prospective talent that Clintondale is a great place to work. Let's come together and bring a fair teacher contract home for Christmas. This situation has dragged on far too long, and it has harmed relationships among colleagues, neighbors, and friends. In the spirit of the Christmas season, let's come together as a community, regardless of any individual differences we have, and support our schools, students, and educators. Working together, we can pave the way toward a brighter future for our families and our community. Thank you.
I appreciate everybody's enthusiasm. The demonstrations need to be kept down. Ma'am, your name for the record?
My name is Ann Patty. I'm a teacher at Parker Elementary.
Okay.
I
3 minutes.
believe Clintondale Community Schools is in a unique position. As a small district, we have the agility to pursue meaningful change and become something truly special. I'm here to appeal to the board to consider that possibility. What if Clintondale became a place where teachers love to work? where a single job opening receives hundreds of applications and there are hardly ever openings? What if families intentionally moved into our district because we are known for providing an excellent education and having a phenomenal staff? What if Clintondale became an exemplar for other districts on cultivating morale, family engagement, and student success? What if you, as board members, were respected and revered for your professionalism and leadership? Our contract negotiations remind me of Dr. Seuss's The Zacks, where two stubborn characters come to an impasse and refuse to resolve their conflict. Frankly, I hold a higher standard for problem solving in my kindergarten classroom than what I see modeled here between the board and the teachers union. Research clearly shows that the relationships among adults in a school community have a direct impact on student achievement. The longer this stalemate and public bickering continue, the greater the negative impact on our students. While this may be our only point of unity, I am confident that none of us wants that. I appeal to this board. Imagine the contract you would offer if you knew you had the very best educators in the state. How would you structure it to reward excellent work? What would it look like to have the best teachers contract in the area, one that attracts and retains top talent? What would it be like for our employees to feel lucky to work here? Good teachers hold the bar high for our students. We are inspired by research showing how a teacher's mindset can impact student progress. Board members, I ask you to model that mindset for us. Scrap the current proposals and go back to the drawing board. Present a contract that expects and believes in the very best from our teachers. This could be a turning point for our district, a moment where you can acknowledge the financial concessions made by your long-term teachers for nearly 2 decades. You can boost morale, raise our standards, and we can become a truly great school district. Our students fundamentally deserve this. We have already experienced the consequences of a deficit mindset: high staff turnover, low morale, declining enrollment, and low test scores. Let's try something different. Let's commit to the best contract in the area for the next 3 to 4 years. Let's get the right people in the right positions and invest in their development. I know there may be skepticism and eye-rolling, and deservedly so, but why can't we change our narrative? Why can't we be the district that beats the odds and rises up out of the ashes? If the district commits financially to the teachers, we could see momentum build. Happy teachers attract families, which would increase enrollment and revenue. As teachers rise to new standards, test scores will improve. As news of our success spreads, we could attract attention and funding from foundations and corporations. And with that backing, who knows what's possible? Board members, the choice is yours. Will you continue to dig in your heels and prolong this cycle of dysfunction, or will you consider the possibilities, pursue excellence, and do something profoundly great for the children's sake?
Thank you, ma'am. Is there anybody else for public comment? Ma'am?
Good evening, members of the board and community members. My name is Miriam Hashem, and I'm with the Clintondale Community Coalition. Thank you for the opportunity to speak this evening. CARE of Southeastern Michigan is the leading provider of technical assistance to community coalitions throughout Macomb County. We support local coalitions in strengthening their capacity, engaging partners, and implementing effective prevention strategies that promote healthy and safe communities. Here in Clinton Township, we collaborate with the Clintondale Community Coalition, a dedicated group focused on preventing youth substance use and supporting positive, healthy choices for young people and families. A core focus area of our coalition's work is safe medication practices and promoting proper medication storage and disposal to reduce access to prescription drugs. We also focus on increasing community understanding of the dangers of substance misuse and supporting evidence-based prevention programming in schools to build protective factors and reduce risk factors. And we also prioritize strengthening partnerships across the community to engage and reach as many individuals and families as possible with the resources and tools that they need. The Clintondale Coalition meets monthly, and we welcome residents, parents, students, businesses, and local leaders to join us. Coalition members help identify local needs, support prevention activities, and build the connections that make lasting community impact. We're always seeking new members and volunteers who are passionate about making Clintondale a safe, healthy, and thriving community. Whether you attend meetings, help plan events, or simply share information, your involvement truly makes a difference. So thank you again for your time and for your commitment to the well-being of our community. Together, we can continue to strengthen Clintondale and support the success of our youth and families.
Thank you. Is there anybody else wishing for public comment? Ma'am? State your name for the record, and you'll be given 3 minutes.
My name is Christy King. I'm a parent community member. I'm also a reading specialist and literacy coach in another district. I'm excited to know that you guys are focusing on the state mandate of bringing science of reading, which is not a new concept. It's actually a blast from the past and coming back stronger. I was wondering if your literacy coaches are continuing going to the Literacy Coach Network at the MISD, and if your specialists are going to be doing the letters training. And I was wondering which programs you're using to teach science of reading. And then I was also wondering, this is aside the point from literacy, the high school art room. It has, I think, had a mold problem, and clearly the ceiling tiles have been taken out, but the room still smells of mold and is actually hard to breathe when you're in there, so I was wondering if anybody is checking that out.
Thank you. Is there anybody else for public comment?
Shannon King, 41328, Rugosa, Clinton Township. I just want to address the board here just briefly. What's it going to take? We're not here for culture war conversations. We're not here saying, take this book out, take this in, take this out. We're here for something that everybody should be able to get behind. Getting a fair contract for our teachers so that they can go in and they themselves have a foundation where they can build upon to be able to have energy to be able to go in and take care of our kids. We're here because we want resources for our children. This stuff is not divisive, it's not rude, it's not mean. It's simply just asking for you to do your job. Some of you were elected, some of you were appointed. Nonetheless, we're just asking for you to do your job, help give our children the tools necessary to be successful. We have teachers, they're saying they're near their breaking point, but a number of them has been past their breaking point. We are continuing to lose more and more fantastic teachers out of this school district. There's people who would love to move into Clinton Township but don't feel like they maybe have the district to be able to move in. You're wasting tax dollars, and yet we're the ones to blame as residents. And yet our teachers are the one to blame because they want a fair contract. And then we lack the transparency and communication that we drive from you to understand if we can't get them a fair contract or we can't get our kids the resources, why that is, and then why aren't you resigning out so we can get people in who can be committed to getting these things done? Thank you.
Is there anybody else for public comment? Seeing no more public comment, the board will take a 10-minute recess and then start upstairs for our closed sessions. The Clintondale Board of Education is coming back out of closed session at 9:51 PM. For a matter for the public, the board has received information from Superintendent Jansrick regarding his mid-year evaluation. The board has discussed CEA negotiations. So the first motion on the floor is to proceed as discussed in closed session in terms of the CEA negotiations. Is there a motion? Mr. Wilson? Is there support?
Support.
Support by Mrs. Valerio Noak. Madam Secretary, are you ready?
1 second. Okay. All right, Mr. Wilson,
Yes.
Ms. Valerio Noak,
Lisa?
Yes.
Mrs. Zantini,
Yes.
Ms. Wilson,
Yes.
Mrs. McDowell, yes, Mr. Maynard.
Yes, motion carries 6-0. The next item from closed session is the recommendation of the president that student number 575-00000256 be expelled from Clintondale Community Schools for 181 days pursuant to his expulsion to enroll in iCampus to see some sort of support for what we discussed. Did I miss anything else, sir?
On track for graduation.
And you must be on track for graduation. Anything else? Is there a motion?
Motion.
Mr. Wilson, is there support?
Support.
Support by Ms. Valerio Noak. Ms. McDowell?
Okay, Mr. Wilson.
Yes.
Ms. Valerio Noak,
Yes.
Ms. Zantini,
Yes.
Ms. Wilson,
Yes.
Ms. McDowell, yes. Mr. Maynard.
Yes, motion carries 6-0. Mr. Superintendent, please inform the parents. Thank you, sir. Board members, motion to adjourn is now in order, but before we roll off, I will start with Mrs. Zantini. One thing everybody is thankful for this upcoming Thanksgiving? On the spot,
For
huh?
my, yeah. For my family.
Mr. Wilson?
My family, my mother, sister, family.
Ms. Wilson?
Family.
Ms. McDowell?
My salvation.
Mrs. Noak?
My family and my husband who's watching.
Mr. Superintendent?
I would say my family. This is the first time having my son be away for college, so having him come back and see him before Thanksgiving was great. It's a wonderful experience.
And I am thankful for my family and as well for my salvation. With that, motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Mr. Wilson, support?
Support.
By Mrs. Noak. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. We're adjourned at 9:55.